It's time to say goodbye to hold music and say hello to fast customer support with Service Cloud. With trusted AI and data working together, you can skip long wait times and deliver efficient, personalized service right away, all while keeping support costs low and more customers happy. Reimagine your customer support with the #1 AI CRM for service. Learn what's possible at salesforce.com/products/service.
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. In breaking news, leading scientists worldwide are conducting experiments to determine if Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. However, it appears the study was inconclusive, as the scientists couldn't help but eat all the Reese's. Because when you want something sweet, you can't do better than Reese's. Find Reese's now at a store near you.
Welcome to the Age of Jeremy. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to this podcast. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Age of Jeremy. I am the leader in tax, investment, and business advice. Also follow our podcast network, The Age of Radioverse, on Instagram at, Age of Radioverse. Over 100 podcasts strong and growing. We just added 2 more podcasts to the Geek Collective network, which we own. It's called Blake's Buzz and Explain Yourself with Kevin and Will. You can also check me out on TikTok at Age of Jeremy and Twitter at Age of Jeremy Q. If you want to be on this podcast and chat, email me at jeremy.quintanilla@ageofradioverse.org. That is jeremy.quintanilla@ageofradioverse.org. We are looking for small business owners and influencers to share their stories, no matter how small, no matter how big. We just love a good story. Also, our 2022 3T Freedom Conference tickets are on sale. If you don't know, I own a company called 3T Warrior Academy or 3T Fitness. It is a wealth building conference. The Freedom Conference is a wealth building conference. It's going to star Coach JV. He'll be talking about mindset. Porter Shumway will be talking about insurance and how to grow your wealth with insurance vehicles. Crypto influencer Bearable Bull will be live streamed in and talking about crypto. He still will not be showing his face. It will just be the avatar of him. And Jordan Harry will be speaking about speed learning. We will also have our technical analysis team and crypto research team there hosting some panels. All right, let's get into today's podcast. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. You are listening to Age of Jeremy. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm the co-founder of Age of Radio and 3T Fitness, and, other businesses that I am working on. This podcast is about everything that I learn and the trials and tribulations it took to learn them. I hope you enjoy. The news portion of this podcast was recorded on February 6, 2022. Some of the news may have changed by then. Some of this news may have been from the previous week, but I thought it would be relevant to you. So let's talk about this. Bitcoin tops 40,000 for the first time in 2 weeks. The price dipped Friday after the U.S. jobs report for January, but reversed as traders grew more confident that the downside is limited. This article comes from CoinDesk from a person named Bradley Kuhn. Probably said his last name wrong, so I do apologize. Lila Ledesma and Dominic Dantes from CoinDesk want to give credit where credit is deserved because I don't write these. They do, and I just find them on the internet. So Bitcoin, also known as BTC, jumped to a 2-week high on Friday. That would have been Friday, February 4th, as crypto traders grew more confident that the market has stabilized following a recent slump, and some analysts flagged the possibility of a short squeeze. The Bitcoin price rose 8.9% over the past 24 hours to about 40,219, pushing past the key psychological threshold of 40,000 for the first time since January 22nd. Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency, remains well off its all-time high of around 69,000, which it reached in December. Kukan said his next target for the price level on the upside is about 42,000 to 43,000. I don't even know who that person is. It never showed up anywhere in the article, or I missed a spot. But anyways, this person said that his next target for the price level on the upside is about 42,000 to 43,000. That makes sense. He sees market support at 33,000 or 28,000 in the worst case, which he says we have not touched. On an intraday basis, Bitcoin has pierced above the top of its week-long price range after holding support above the 35,000 to 37,000 zone. And again, this is a CoinDesk article called Bitcoin Tops 40,000 for the first time in 2 weeks. You can get the link to this article because I recommend you go and read it. You can get the link to this article in the episode description. Moving on. SEC requests comments on concerns about Grayscale's spot Bitcoin ETF proposal. So as you know, a lot of these investment funds and a lot of these investment companies, they're looking at ways to create exchange traded fund utilizing cryptocurrencies, and the SEC is giving them a hard time, which to some extent the SEC should be giving them a hard time, but the SEC is outdated as far as its laws and rules and regulations are. We are not keeping up with the new generations because every single generation should have the opportunity to change a lot of those rules and regulations and amendments. But this comes from CoinDesk by Michael Belushi. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has expressed concerns about how Grayscale will head off share manipulation, fraud, and other possible issues in its proposal to convert its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into a Bitcoin spot exchange-traded fund, according to a notice on Friday. This would have been February 4th. The regulator also flagged its concerns about the liquidity and transparency of Bitcoin markets, as well as the sustainability of Bitcoin as the underlying asset for the fund. Grayscale is a unit of a company called Digital Currency Group, which is also the parent of CoinDesk. The SEC has asked the public to comment on these issues and given them 21 days to do so, with an additional 14 days for responses to those comments. Earlier this week, the SEC requested an investment manager Bitwise to respond to similar concerns about its own spot Bitcoin ETF proposal. Grayscale initially filed an application with the SEC to convert its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into a Bitcoin spot ETF in October. In December, the SEC pushed off its review of Grayscale's application by 45 days. Over the past couple of months, the agency has rejected spot Bitcoin ETF applications from WisdomTree, Krypton, Skybridge, and Fidelity. And those are some big players, especially WisdomTree and Fidelity. It is weighing a number of other applications from investment firms. There are some corrections to this article, so make sure that you read it yourself to get the full breakdown. Again, the link to this article is in the episode description, as well as all of the other articles and other links that we may talk about in this episode. All right, our final article comes from MarketWatch's Steve Goldstein. I have a G on the end of that. I think I might have spelt it wrong, but Steve Goldstein. Go look him up on MarketWatch. Peak everything, growth, inflation, and COVID may soon mean calmer markets ahead, economist says. For better or worse, we're at the summit of everything. Andy Cates, senior economist at Haver Analytics, in a presentation said it's looking like the world is simultaneously reaching peak COVID, peak growth, and peak inflation. Many of the microeconomic drivers of asset prices in recent times are peaking and either already moving into reverse or about to move into reverse, he said. The first part, COVID, is obviously welcome. He pointed to a big drop in global COVID deaths related to cases and the declines in South African cases and UK ventilations. Both countries were among the first to be hit by the Omicron variant of coronavirus. The growth peak is less welcome. Most major economies have regained their pre-COVID GDP level, but expectations for GDP growth are easing outside of China, where growth already has slowed and corporate profit growth is set to slow. A lot of the heavy lifting in the early recovery phase in the pandemic era has already unfolded, and it won't therefore be as easy in the next few months for economic growth to surpass the pace that we've seen in that previous phase, he said. On inflation, he noted that global consumer good prices were finally slowing. There's still excess capacity in China and Europe, and supply chain pressures may have peaked. Fiscal policy is getting tighter and interest rate forecasts are being lifted. While yields seem out of kilter with global growth and inflation fundamentals, they may come back into balance soon. The gap between these two series has been breached a little in recent weeks, and in my view, it won't take too much more from a slowing world economy, weaker commodity prices, and higher interest rates to completely bridge the gap in the period ahead, he said. So when I said in my view, I'm actually referring to the person that they're quoting in this article. If inflation shortly peaks too, which would be his view, and then falls quite quickly, volatility to short peak, and calmer waters should reappear, Cates said. Though Thursday, the S&P 500 has dropped 6% from its January highs, while the CBOE volatility index climbed 47% this year. So the S&P 500 has dropped and volatility has increased. So keep that in mind. And again, make sure to read these full articles so you have a better understanding of the world. The links to these news articles are in the episode description, and we will be right back with our guests.
Get out of the trenches of tedious tasks like managing order fulfillment and start growing your business with ShipStation. They'll help increase profitability by automating your workflow with their simple, easy-to-use dashboard. With it, you can pretty much do everything you need to quickly and easily. Update order information, print labels, compare rates, optimize shipments, and even set up automatic delivery notifications. And it doesn't matter where you sell. Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, ShipStation can integrate pretty much anywhere online. Another great thing about ShipStation? They can help reduce costs with industry-leading discounted rates from some of the biggest mail carriers. You might even be able to get up to 89% off USPS and UPS rates. So, make this year your most profitable one yet. Sign up for your free 30-day trial at ShipStation.com and use the code Spotify. That's ShipStation.com with the code Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. In breaking news, leading scientists worldwide are conducting experiments to determine if Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. However, it appears the study was inconclusive, as the scientists couldn't help but eat all the Reese's. Because when you want something sweet, you can't do better than Reese's. Find Reese's now at a store near you.
I have two amazing guests on the show today. The amazing Johnny Krypto and NFT Tones. They have been involved with crypto, heavily involved with crypto for over a year now. They have also dived deep into the metaverse with NFTs and play to earn blockchain games. You can check out Johnny Krypto on YouTube. There's a link in the episode description, and you can follow him on Twitter at JohnnyCrypto00. NFT Tones can be found on IG, YouTube, Atomic Hub, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and OpenSea. You can access his link tree in the episode description, so make sure to subscribe to their amazing content. All right, here's my conversation with Johnny Krypto and NFT Tones, and it's just a little glimpse into the metaverse. Here you go. We're good. All right, so NFT Tones and Johnny Krypto, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I am doing amazing. Thank you so much for being on here without any actual preparation prior to you guys jumping on. I'm really excited about it.
Well, thank you for having us. And that is Johnny Krypto with a K, and I hope everybody's having a good day.
Yeah. So real quick, even before I ask you to introduce yourselves, how did you come up with Johnny Krypto and why did you change it to a K?
That's actually a great story. So when I joined the academy, everybody was creating their own nicknames, and I was like, what am I going to come up with? And because I started doing a lot of research in crypto, I got asked to join the crypto team. So I was like, okay, and my name is John, so I thought Johnny Krypto made great sense. So it was Johnny Krypto with a C. So one day, Coach has us on the show, and we're filming videos together. So he goes, "Oh, hey, I need a picture of you." Well, I guess before he reached out to me to get a picture, he asked his media guy there, Dustin, to go get it. So Dustin went and Googled Johnny Krypto, and a name came up and a face came up, and they put him up there. And the next thing you know, Coach looks at it and goes to Dustin, "That's not Johnny. That's not our Johnny Krypto. There's another Johnny Krypto." Like, damn, there's another Johnny Krypto out there already with a C. So I was like, well, that ain't gonna work. And then I thought, well, you know what? C don't work. K sounds like it's the same sound as C. So, and that's how I became Johnny Krypto with a K.
So when we were on the live the other day, there was a Johnny Ripple. That's not you though, right? So that's
no, but
because I think
funny.
Figs thought that it was you, right?
I think everybody does.
Because you weren't on the live the other day, were you? On the Thursday live? Yeah. I think Figs thought it was you. Yeah, that's really funny.
Oh God, I'm just started asking me questions and hoping I answered because I feel bad if I didn't. Whoever Johnny Ripple was.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But anyways, okay. So to kind of get started, or to get a little bit back on track here. So if you guys want to, just because my audience, they don't really know who you are. If you want to kind of introduce yourself, we'll start with Johnny and then kind of go over to NFT Tones. And if you can introduce yourself and then how you got into, how you guys kind of got into cryptocurrency and when you got into cryptocurrency.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jimmy. So my name is Johnny Krypto with a K. And like I say, I hope you're all having a good day. So I got into crypto just over a year ago. I could tell you exactly when it was, sometime in November. And it was all thanks to my cousin. My cousin sent me a text message of a TikTok, and I never ever watch TikTok, right?
Yep.
So I have no idea why I clicked on it to even open it up, but I open it up, and there's this jacked up bearded dude in a red t-shirt, and he's talking about the banking system and how it's corrupted and it's run by the archchild, and I don't want to say the names, and there's a couple other elite family names, and I was like, wow, finally. And I've known this for a long time, but when you talk to most people, nobody knows how our banking system works.
Yeah.
So when I heard it, I'm like, they don't know how fake it is, right? When you get into that's another show, another conversation for another show. But when I heard it, I was like, wow, this guy really gets it. And it connected with me. And I was like, I need to follow this guy. I need to know more. And he talked about in that same little 30-second TikTok there rant was about the banking system and how crypto is going to change the world and the financial system. I was like, I need to know more. So I clicked on it and he's like, oh, if you join the academy, you could see my portfolio. So, all right, I'm going to do this. I want to join this thing. So this is a long story. I'll try to make it short, but it's really funny at the end. So I joined the academy, and my only intention was to join the academy, see the portfolio for like a month or two, and then I'm out. So I joined the academy. I was like, let me see what's going on. Let me learn. I know nothing about crypto, but I've heard Bitcoin. I knew about it, but that's it. I joined it. I see the portfolio, and XRP was one of his big things. It was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's all about, XRP. So, I've got burned in the past by jumping on what people say and do. So I didn't jump in this time, which I usually do. Instead, I said, I'm going to monitor XRP for a few weeks and just see what it does. See what this guy knows what he's talking about. And I'm watching XRP like starts at 65 cents, goes up to 70, down to 50, and check again, it's 70, 60. And then I see 44, 32. Next day, it's 21. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, holy crap, I would have lost my shirt. Thank God I didn't listen to this guy. This guy knows what he's talking about. So now I'm curious, like, what's he going to say to all those people? And I've never told anybody this story, although I think I did tell Coach, but I haven't told anybody else this story. Okay. So I was like, oh man, how's Coach going to get out of this one? So I go to his YouTube channel. I go to the Mighty Networks to go see what he's going to say. And he's got an emergency message there, right? Because everybody's pinging him. Everybody's like, oh, what the hell's going on? And he goes in and he talks to everybody. And he's like, guys, I know you're all panicking. My phone's blowing up. He's like, here's what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, here it goes. How's he going to get out of this? And he goes, I'm buying more. And I'm like, holy shit. And it dawned on me that the way one of the elite families in England bought the Bank of England in one day was they knew that Napoleon had lost the war.
Yep.
But they told the whole country of England, because they had the information one day earlier, that he won the war. So what happened? Everybody in London panicked. Everybody sold their banks. So the whole stock market plummeted. And this family out there came and bought everything for pennies on the dollar, bought everything for cheap. And then so everybody sold it. They bought it all up because of the fear. And then the next day, the real news came in and they drove the price back up. And now they bought the whole country in one day. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, that's exactly what's happening here with XRP. The elites are playing a game with everybody, right? Pull out their big boys, have the SEC pull a fake lawsuit, crash the whole thing, and they buy it up for cheap, right? And then he showed a chart showing how all the big money was going in and buying this up. And like, this guy knows exactly. And that's when it changed for me. I was like, you know what? Not only am I staying in the academy, this guy knows his shit. And I was a believer from that point on.
Nice.
And that's how I got into it. And God bless Coach JV and the 3T Academy, because it has changed my life. Yeah. I love you, Coach. If you're listening, I love you, man.
Absolutely. So then NFT Tones, how did you get into it then?
So I got into it around the time Johnny Crypto got into it, except about 3 months later, I ended up finding out about NFTs.
Right.
And so in about February, I got onto the Wax Network, and that's where I started my NFT journey. And ever since, I've just been in crypto and NFTs, but I've loved NFTs so much more. I feel like people don't understand the true value behind them, and that they will bring a lot of things in the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And so NFTs have blown up over the last, I don't know, year, I guess, as you were just saying, NFT Tones, from when you kind of got into it. And so NFT stands for non-fungible token. So can you guys, we'll start with NFT Tones and then go back to Johnny Crypto. Would you guys define what a non-fungible token is?
Basically, it's something on the blockchain that is one of a kind and it can't be replaced. So think like a trading card and think of it like always in mint condition, 10 out of 10, one of one, that can't be destroyed or merged or in any kind of way. So like it's yours, it's one of a kind, and it always has a number to represent the ID and the owner.
Okay. And then would you add anything to that, Johnny?
Yeah. So the one thing I added, which makes them special, is that the way to think about it is there's now a unique ownership to it, almost like you own the rights to that piece. So if it appreciates in value, there's no argument of who owns it. It's yours. And what's really cool, if you're an artist or a creator of
recording
the NFT,
in progress.
Sorry, ignore that.
What's really cool, if you're the owner or the creator of this content now, in the past, to collect on your royalties, you had to go through a third party, whether it was through a record company or something. Now, when you create this thing, it's yours. You own it, and you're tied to the royalty stream forever. So when you sell it to somebody else, if that person then sells it to the next person, you get to keep a small piece of royalty every time it's sold. So you don't have to worry about somebody tracking the royalties and making sure you're getting paid on the rights of something you created. So that's really, really cool about them is from the buyer's perspective, you get to physically own, or I should say digitally own it. But from the creator's perspective, you get to make a revenue stream forever, lifetime. So
right. And
really,
do you think
really
that's why people like Gary Vaynerchuk are really adamant about it on it because of the power that it puts in the creator's hands?
That's 100% right. Think about it. Now, before having to go through a third party and you're splitting the revenues with them and you're at their mercy, whether they want to even get it out there. Now it's all yours. It's totally the power is now in the hands of the people. And that's what's really, really exciting about them is you get to control the destiny of that and you get to profit off it as well.
So both of you have NFT portfolios currently, correct? And then
Yes.
also I know in the academy, John, Coach JV, goes over his portfolio every Thursday on the stuff that he's added to his NFT portfolio. But in your guys' portfolio, there's I think one of the confusing points about NFTs, and maybe you guys can clear it up, is NFTs not just art, right? It can be other types of things that aren't just like digital art pieces. Is that accurate?
Yes. It could be gaming pieces. There could be many different forms of NFTs besides art. I know a lot of people are thinking that NFTs could revolutionize gaming because it allows people to play and earn for their time. And then if they stop playing a game, they can actually sell the NFTs that they earned or the skins and earn money for the time that they spent in the game. So I think this could be changing, not life-changing, but it could change a lot of things in the future with how video games and how the current industry is done.
Yeah, and if I can build on that, in addition to being gaming NFTs as NFTs Tones talked about, where you get to actually own the rights of that piece and use it in the game and then sell it if you want afterwards. There's a whole nother world. There's an art piece of it. There's a music piece of it. There's revenue sharing, owning it, which gets you, like, for example, Gambling Apes, right? You get to own a piece of a casino and get the benefit off of that. And then there's a whole nother world that's developing around NFTs we're so early in this space, Jeremy, that we don't know how this is going to play out, but we know that there's going to be a tokenization of real properties. So taking your real estate and being able to NFTize it, right? So now let's say you got a building, you're an apartment and you want to break it up into little segments like shares of a company and say, okay, this building, in my opinion, is worth, $500,000 and I could break this into 100 pieces and sell each one of those pieces for, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 NFT. And somebody gets the revenue share of that. So that's where we believe the NFT market is really going to find some serious utility where we transfer the real world into the digital world. It's all going to get tokenized through these NFTs.
Yeah, and so So do you guys have, so real quick, back to when you were saying like, so when people sell it, some of the money can go back to the creator. Does that piece work the same if that NFT is like a game token or a game piece? So like if you're the person that designs that and is built into the smart contract where someone gets a fee of it or gets a portion of that, or the creator gets a portion of that money, right? When you transfer it, that works for any NFT. It doesn't necessarily just have to be like an art piece. In the case of like the contracts for the properties, it would work the same no matter what across the board.
That's correct. That's all you said, the key word, smart contract. And that's what's changing the world. That's what Ethereum is and the blockchain is all about, is being able to create these contracts that then allow you to program them to, if you want, charge a royalty every time it's sold, and program what that royalty is. Is it 5%? Is it 2%? 7%? And do you only get the whole thing, or does a partner of yours get it? There's so many things you can do in how you structure that digital contract that then lives forever on the blockchain. And then, 20 years, 50 years, 80 years from now, no one needs to go find a piece of paper or what contract said in a drawer somewhere. It's programmed forever, and that will just continue to live on permanently.
Yeah. And so something that NFT Tones said about like the play to earn space, I know that has something to do with kind of like this metaverse concept, and that's becoming big. So I guess my question to NFT Tones is, how does non-fungible tokens fit into that metaverse space? And what do you mean when you talk about play to earn games, and how does that all fit together?
Okay. So play to earn games are basically something kind of like where you can play with your NFT and earn some kind of income. And so we kind of saw it with Axie Infinity for a while, where people were in the Philippines were making an actual income off of Axie through scholarships. I think that through metaverse growth, more people are going to find ways of incorporating NFTs into the metaverse besides like lands and owning lands. And like you can, for certain games, you can own lands and get paid residual income through people that are using the lands. For example, on Alien Worlds, I own a land, and every time somebody mines on it, I get a small amount. And then every day I also get a commission amount. So I make about $20 to $30 every day off of that. And so it seems small, but it adds up. And like, if you can find a lot of these investments at smaller starting prices, then it could be a really good investment for long term, especially as these metaverses and games and different things grow. For example, Pegaxi, it's a play to earn horse racing game, and you can race, breed, and rent your horses. And originally the horses started at about $1,000 on the secondary market. Then they dropped down to about $300 to $400 because the coin dropped. And now they're all the way back up to $3,000 for a horse with no breeds. And you're looking with that horse, depending on the win rate, you can make about $125 to $100, maybe $80 a day. So like, it's kind of crazy what like these NFTs could generate. So, and I was talking to somebody today who actually owned 100 horses, and he says he rents them out for PGX and makes about $34,000 a day.
Oh my gosh. So how'd you meet that guy on the actual game itself?
I met him on Discord.
Yeah.
And I was able to get some tips from him. He was actually a really nice, helpful guy. And I definitely was able to get some tips from him. So
that's really, really cool. So how did Johnny, did you want to add anything to that before I ask a follow-up question to NFT
I just
Tones?
wanted to tie that in as to how that all comes together for the folks listening at home.
Well, and can you also, too, in your explanation too, Johnny, for this, before I go back to NFT Tones, can you kind of explain like what the difference between like virtual reality metaverse is and just the regular concept of metaverse? Because I feel like when people say metaverse, especially now with Facebook changing it to Meta and their focus on the Oculus, a lot of people think that it just specifically has to do with virtual reality, and that's not 100% of the case, right?
Yeah. So you brought up, so there really is right now, people are throwing around the word metaverse because it's a hot topic, hot tomato or hot potato, right? So it's used everywhere because it just gets news. So, but the reality is nobody really knows the true definition of what the metaverse is yet. But the ideal state, or what people tend to think about, is something similar to if you saw the movie Ready Player One, where you're going to put a headset on and you're going to immerse yourself into this 3D virtual reality world, and you're going to be living in there with an avatar, right? You know, whatever you want that to be. You'll be a superhero. You could be whatever you want to be and dress however you want to dress, and do things in that world, and earn in that world, and play in that world, and fly planes or dragons and all these other things you can do. And then, but there's a stepping stage that's going to take us to there, right? We're not there yet. We're probably a good 5 to 10 years away before we're really truly where technology and chipsets and everything is really there, where it can carry the bandwidth of all that, imagine almost half the world wearing a headset on. That's a shit ton of bandwidth you have to be able to carry to be able to make that world work. And the technology is in the process of being developed to do that. So until we get there, we're in this other world, kind of halfway, stepping ground, purgatory, if you will, space of the metaverse, which is just all about a web browser based type virtual world where you can kind of get a sense for what it's like, but it's done more through a web browser. So,
and what's an example of one? I know you just did one recently on the 3T Warrior Academy YouTube where you flew on a dragon, right?
Yeah, boy, man, it was easy to fly, but it was a pain in the ass to get on his back. But that was in Decentraland. The Decentraland is a very good example of a web-based metaverse, which eventually is going to become a virtual reality world metaverse, but it's not there yet. So you can go in there, and I encourage folks, if you're excited about the metaverse or want to get a feel for what it's even like, it's free. Go create go to decentraland.com, and you can create an avatar and get in there, and you can kind of walk around and play and kind of see what it's like see what the future is going to be like in that aspect of the game. Then there's another whole world, like another metaverse called Blacktopia, which is going to be strictly developed on VR technology only. So the only way to really be part of that metaverse is to put the headset on and go right deep dive into it and get a feel for what that world is like. So that's really the difference right now, based on the stages of technology and where we are today.
Nice. And the follow-up question that I was going to ask for NFT Tones was, what was the first play to earn game that you specifically did where you had to play the game to actually earn some type of reward?
So do you mean by like, so a lot of these games right now are kind of like where you click, kind of send your troop or whatnot on a mission, and then like they come back in an hour, or you can mine so often on a land. So do you mean something like that, or something more like active game?
So do both. Why not just do both of them? Have you done both?
So the closest thing to active gameplay, I would say, is Thetan Arena, which is really, really addicting.
What is it called?
Thetan Arena.
Okay.
And basically, if you heard of Brawl Stars, which is another game popular, it was made by the people who made Clash of Clans. And basically, they took the formula and NFTized the game. And so with the NFT heroes, you can go in and play and earn money. And now you can rent out the heroes. And now I think they've even added something where you can actually watch gameplay and bet on which side is going to win. And you can actually earn money through that way. So there's that, which has its hands-on. And then the first game I ever gotten into was Alien Worlds, and that was just a basic, this was back in February when I started. This was just a basic mining game where you click on the land and mine every 10, 20 minutes or hour, whatever your tools added up to.
Yeah.
And you just converted it into wax, and that's how I was buying some of my packs and stuff that dropped.
That's really, really cool. And you've built up a pretty big portfolio of NFTs, right?
Yeah, so on Wax, I believe I have like 70,000 NFTs.
And just so people can get an idea of what this can mean, not the value of your portfolio, but you essentially kind of play games for a living in this crypto reward space concept, right?
Yeah, so right now with my horses, horses. I basically make about $400 to $500, maybe $600 a day just racing the horses.
Yeah, and that's just one thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And that's crazy because I think that so I'm 38 and my parents my mom was very supportive of it, but my stepdad hated when I would just play video games nonstop. Right. And so to think that the different levels of how gaming's come, now, then you had esports. And now you have where you could play money to earn. And then you had now then it kind of has the YouTube piece where you can create a YouTube channel and get advertising money. But now you can literally physically play the actual game and get money for playing the actual game.
And even if you don't have enough money, a lot of these games are even if you don't have enough money to buy some of the assets, what's great now is you can rent them out. So people can rent out these horses and still get 5 to 10, maybe 20%. So they're still earning something, even if they can't buy a complete asset or whatnot. So they can work up to it or whatever they want to do.
Yeah. No, that's really, really cool. And so you've been doing that full time essentially for how long?
I've been doing this for since I started, to be honest.
Just really you found the NFTs and just kind of got into it and jumped right in, and I just loved it. I love the concept of being able to earn while gaming, because for me, I always gamed while I was younger. So being able to actually have that time turn into money and have it not be wasted is actually really I find it unique, because this was never a thing before. So I really think the gaming will evolve into a play to earn gaming space. And I also saw the Reddit co-founder believes that 90% of play to earn gaming will be 90% play to earn in 5 years. Yeah. No, I think it's going to get to that point too. So when you jumped into this, how did you guys, and we can start with NFT Tones and then go over to Johnny Krypto. How did you start finding projects? What do you do to find projects, and what are some resources that you utilize to find projects if someone wants to get into this?
So originally, since I started on Wax, I kind of just was looking just kind of on, it was Wax.
Atomic Hub.
Yeah, it was Atomic Hub, but there's a bunch of other resources that you can use, such as, actually, they put them right on Atomic Hub now. Atomic Hub has been greatly updated. And so if you go right on Atomic Hub, not only do you see all the popular games out now, you can also see top selling and all the news. So they ended up putting the news website right on the Atomic Hub, and it's called NFT Insider, and that'll show you all the Wax drops. Now, since I expanded onto ETH and Matic and Avalanche, I now use play-to-earn.online and play-to-earn.net. And play-to-earn.online is basically for all my news. That's where I find out basically all my news. And then play-to-earn.net is basically where you go to find the popular games that are rising.
So it was Atomic Hub. I'm just taking notes so I can put them in the podcast episode description. So Atomic Hub and play-to-earn.net.
And then play-to-earn.online.
Antonio, send it to him in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, so then that way, anybody who's listening to this, they can just go into the episode description and then they can do it. And then I'll have you send them to me in the chat, because when Johnny Krypto asked me to do that the other day and I said no, I misspelled something and it caused a big effing shit show. And so
I knew I should have sent it over to you. I should have sent it anyway.
Okay. All right. Thank you, NFT Tones.
No problem.
Okay, so Atomic Hub and Play to Earn Online and play-to-earn.net.
Yes.
Okay, so those are the main places that you go to find projects, and those are specifically for play to earn projects, right?
So play-to-earn.net, play-to-earn.online just gives you all NFT information.
Got it.
Anything. So play-to-earn.online is like a ranking for all the games. So it gives you what's doing great and fantastic and versus what's doing worse. But just because a game's not doing good, it doesn't mean that it's not valued high. Sometimes you have to go see why the game is rated low, because like it could be a new game and you don't want to sleep on something that's a new game because it could end up being very popular in the long run.
Right. No, absolutely. So, Johnny Krypto, what do you do to find different projects? Just in general, whether they're play to earn or not.
Yeah, so I'm less of a play to earn guy right now. Although I'm pissed that I'm not a kid anymore, because I would have loved to just play games for a living.
You just need to quit your day job and play games. If you just...
That's the game plan. That's the game plan. I'm hoping NFT Tones will direct me into. It sounds like I'm going to have to buy a couple racehorses there. But what I typically tend to do is I'm more of a utility crypto investor. So what I'm doing more of, I have a like NFT Tones, I think says he has over 100 NFTs. I've got maybe about 10. What I'm doing more of is looking for two things. I'm looking for passive income, right? Because I want to generate passive income off this new future market that's coming,
right?
To quit my day job, and I want to be able to also own utility coins that are going to make up the future. What we call Web 3.0. So where we are today is Web 2.0. What we're moving to is the new, and nobody really cares about this because a lot of this stuff is behind the scenes stuff. Like when you write an email and you hit send, you don't care how it gets there, right? You hit the send button, it gets there. But what happens behind the scenes? A bunch of shit has to happen. And when that stuff's happening, it costs money, right? Web 3.0 is just another way to make all that stuff happening behind the scenes much simpler, much more efficient, and much more lower costing. Really, that's really what we're talking about, is how the things run, behind the scenes. So I want to make sure that as this world is coming, I want to be able to own those types of utility crypto. They're called cryptocurrencies, but they're really not. They're web-based technologies, blockchain technologies that through a decentralized process, there's a currency that kind of gives incentive to keep it running, but it's all about how this thing works efficiently on a ledger or a blockchain. So I'm searching for those types of technologies like XRP, which solves a cross-border payment problem, or like a Cardano, which is a smart contract-based blockchain that solves the problem that Ethereum doesn't. If anybody who's out there and has used Ethereum, or you're buying and selling stuff on Ethereum, you've probably heard of something called the gas fee.
Yeah.
And that gas fee is a painful thing. I mean, I've sometimes spent more money on the gas fee than the actual damn NFT.
The first time that I tried to do any type of swap, first time I tried to do a swap was on an Ethereum network, and like the gas fee to do the swap was more than what I was swapping, and I'm like, what the crap is this?
Like, what is this?
Yeah,
right?
Like, what is going on? Yeah.
So as a savvy investor and somebody who's early into the space, you want to look for and see where's the future going, and then what technologies are the right ones to invest that are going to lead that race, and that's going to ultimately lead to something that's highly efficient and low cost, because that's just where the world always goes to. Every day, all we try to do in our jobs is how do you solve for lower cost solutions that provide convenience to consumers, right? So that's what we're trying to solve for here. And so things like Cardano solves that gas fee problem, because guess what? Cardano's gas fee is very, very, very tiny, almost slim to none. I mean, we're talking about a $200 gas fee in Ethereum would be equivalent, in Cardano, you may pay 10 cents.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because the VVS Finance swap or DeFi, where I've been messing around with the Kronos network, I think the Crow gas fee is like, I don't know, the same situation it'd probably be like at this point, because it's not the same type of currency or network. It's like 2 cents or something like that, or 2 Crow or something like that. It's whatever. It's super small. Yeah.
Which is pennies on the dollar. So that's what I do. I search for coins or technology, cryptocurrencies that have a utility and solve a real world need. And that's the kind of things. And I search for those. Coin Market Cap is a great place to go search for coins, because they actually categorize them. You can search by Metaverse. You can search by DeFi. You can search by the different categories. And then within them, all the different coins come up, and you can click on them, and they actually have a description They're one of the few sites I found, CoinMarketCap.com, that has a description of what each one of these things does. And so I read the description. I start to try to see what the solves are. And if I try to stay away from shit coins because I like Shiba and Doge.
Do you have any current shit coins?
I do.
What's your favorite shit coin that you have for fun? If you're willing to.
Right now, my favorite one is Shirio. So
what
I like
is
it.
That?
So Shirio is a shit coin, but it maybe not because it has a game behind it that they're coming out with. A card game, where you kind of battle a chess card game where you battle against
like Magic the Gathering, but
exactly like Magic.
Yeah. So that's the other shit coins like Sheeb and Doge. Those all pumped already, and I got out of those. But I lost my shirt on some of the other ones, so I don't play shit coins anymore. But this particular one I really like as my favorite because of the fact that there's a game behind it and some potential utility. So
NFT Tones, do you hold any coins also, or do you just mainly move your coins into NFTs and so forth?
So I do hold some coins like Gala, Engine, Mana. I own a lot of XRP, XLM. I own a good majority of the coins, and then I have NFTs as well.
Yeah. So if someone wants to get into any of the cryptocurrency space, where is the best place that you think that they start should start?
I would direct them directly to Wax because Wax has been growing, and it's I would put it in the top 5 crypto coins for NFTs upcoming because it has major upside, I believe, with all the NFTs and everything coming to it. It has tons of collectibles such as Godzilla, Funko, Hot Wheels, and these collectibles even come with IRL redeemables.
So the Hot Wheels that Coach JV bought, were those on Wax?
Yes, those were on Wax.
Because I own Wax only because of you. I always say, whatever the young kids are buying, that's what I'm gonna go.
I love Wax. I really do. Because Wax.
And after I researched it, I'm a really big fan of Wax in general. But the only way I heard of it was because of you.
Yeah.
So,
and great thing about Wax is there's no gas fee. So I personally love Wax, and since there's no gas fee, it helps a ton. The only thing you have to do is stake some Wax into your CPU and net, and that's it.
So what's your favorite? So for Johnny Crypto, what is your favorite project, or what is a project that people should research if they want to get into cryptocurrency?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's so many of my favorite, but the one that I'm really, really hot on right now that people should go research and get into is Quant. So the symbol's QNT.
Okay.
And the reason why I like Quant is Quant is going to do for cryptocurrency what TCP/IP did for the internet. So most people are saying what the hell are you talking about?
I was just going to say, what the hell is that?
Yeah. So let me simplify. So TCP/IP is nothing more than just a translator. It basically says, so when you have a certain Apple computer, and let's say I've got a PC or a Commodore 64, different brands, right? And phones, Samsung and iPhone, all these different things. Each developer is designing code their own way, right? So if I'm designing a computer and I'm writing it to do one thing, and you're designing your computer to do a different thing, the chances of my computer knowing what your computer is trying to say and talk to each other are slim to none, unless there's a translator between them, right? That basically translates the language that we're both talking into the same common language. It's so different than you go to a different country, right? If you don't understand the language, you need some translator to translate, from English to whatever, the Chinese or Japanese or Italian, depending on the country. So Quant is going to do that. So we talked earlier about blockchain. I think I mentioned the word blockchain. Well, there's a ton of them. There's all these different blockchains. So you got Cardano, you've got Ethereum, you've got XRP, you've got, there's so many, there's 10,000, right? None of them are going to talk to each other. Right now, they don't talk to each other. And what they're trying to solve for is what's called interoperability. They basically want to be able to talk to each other. Well, how do you solve that? You need to create a standard which says, okay, when I'm going to, for example, going back to my email thing, when I'm going to write an email, I've got to structure it. The computer needs to know that it takes this email, formats it into a certain structure that everybody's going to use. And that structure is then the common language that every different programmer uses so that we can all talk to each other. Quant is trying to do that for the blockchain so that someday Cardano will be able to talk to Avalanche, and Matic will talk to Stellar, and all these things will work together, right? And that's what Quant is doing. And they just hit a major milestone a couple of days ago in terms of creating their over ledger, which is going to help all these things talk together. So I love Quant for that reason, because without them, nothing works. It's just going to be all these separate blockchains living in separate silos, trying to create their own world, and it's not going to work. When this is going to take off is when they all come together, and Quant, I think, is going to.
So when they all can talk to each other, what's the benefit of that?
Boom! Now the metaverse lives. Now the benefit is the metaverse is now a whole ecosystem comes together. Now your computer can talk to my computer. So for the consumer, it's no longer you and me battling each other to try and win their place. It's all of us growing together, because we can all create more products that are all going to work together. And it doesn't matter what blockchain we do it on, right? So that is when the real, true explosion and maturity of this market is going to happen. And for the metaverse alone, they're projecting it to be a $1 trillion market cap. That's huge. But none of that's going to really be enabled until the companies like Quant solve for that and create a standard so everybody can work together.
Right. So this is going to be my last question, and I'm going to start with you, Johnny Krypto. If someone is brand new to the space, right, and I'm going to continue to have you guys on the podcast just so we can learn more as you guys are learning more, and we can get deep dive into the video games, because I love video games and owning businesses. And one day we'll talk about the businesses that we own together. That being said, I love games. So I would love to have NFT Tones back on just to specifically talk only about games, and to do some other things involving games as well. But that being said, if someone is listening to the podcast, because we've only recently started talking about cryptocurrencies on this specific podcast over the last maybe 3 months maybe. If someone wanted to get into crypto, like go and buy crypto, what exchange do you recommend that they use that's your favorite exchange for someone who's brand new to go and start purchasing their own cryptocurrencies?
That's a wonderful question, and a very important one, because there are so many exchanges out there. So I'll say two things about that. One, my favorite, I personally have a couple, because what you're going to find right now, because we're so new in this space, is that there's no one exchange that you can buy all the coins on that you want to have. So what I found is when I started with Kraken. And the reason why I chose Kraken, and I love Kraken, is because its security was so high. It was touted as the number one. They'd never been hacked. And hacking has been a problem for this industry right now. So I feel safe with my investments being on Kraken. The problem with Kraken is they don't have a wide selection of coins. Maybe they got 60 or 70 versus like a Binance or Coinbase.
And real quick, just so people kind of understand that 60 and 70 is not a lot. How many coins are in existence?
Yeah, so there's over 20,000 coins right now today. The majority of them are shit coins, but there's a good 1,000 or maybe even less, maybe about 200 to 300 that are really solid that you want to, that most people want to get. And you can find those on BitTrue is what I use. So I like BitTrue because not only can I find the majority of the coins I want there, but then they have this wonderful thing called Power Piggy. Power Piggy is where I can, I don't want to use the word stake because it's not the right word, but I'll say that for now, just so meaning I can take those coins, and the way you go into a bank and you put your money into a CD, I can take my coins and put them into equivalent of a CD right on their website. And I can earn instantly interest rates of up to like 6, 7, anywhere from 2% to 8%. Yeah. Good luck finding that in a bank.
Yeah, you won't find that in a bank at any, unless you maybe at some banks, if you have millions of dollars with them, they may give you something like that.
But here's the best part. I didn't tell you. In a CD, when I go and put my money in a bank in a CD, if I'm lucky, I might get 1.5%. Yep. And I have to lock it up for 2 freaking years. I can't touch it. I can on BitTrue and all these other exchanges like Nexo, which is more of a DeFi, I can put my money there and I can take it out. I can earn 8% right now as we're speaking. In fact, I am on Nexo. I'm running anywhere from 4.5% to 8%, and I could take it out tomorrow if I want, and I could sell it right now. If it pumped today, I could sell it as we speak.
Right.
I literally unstake it and boom, I sell it. It's beautiful. I'm not locked into nothing, and that's why DeFi is going to change the world. So yeah, I'd recommend Kraken, BitTrue. But if you find a coin that you want and it's not there, the best thing is go to coinmarketcap.com, find the coin you want, scroll to the bottom of the page, and it's going to say see all markets, and it's going to show you all the exchanges that list that coin.
Okay. Perfect. No, that's great advice. All right, NFT Tones, we'll close out with you. What's your favorite place to go, and what's your favorite exchange for a beginner?
So my favorite two is Krypto.com and KuCoin, but I'll start with Krypto.com because I feel like this is definitely the easier of the two, and that this you could just put your debit card in and purchase whatever crypto you want. And Krypto.com has about 100 coins, but not all of them are purchasable in the US. So you got to see what coins are available in your region and whatnot, and make your purchase among that. But then on KuCoin, you have a huge selection of coins. And I love KuCoin because so many coins go there, and you can find a lot of the upcoming game tokens go to KuCoin before any other exchange. So KuCoin is a very, very popular exchange that I recommend, but it definitely isn't too beginner friendly because it has the actual account and then the trading account. So you have to remember to transfer your funds over to your trading account to actually trade the coin.
Got it.
And to withdraw the coins, you have to send it back to your main account to withdraw them off of KuCoin. So you got to remember to do that. And it's a little bit of a process, but once you get it down, it's easy.
Perfect. Yeah. And to that point too, to KuCoin, that when Jackie was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I know that that's one of her favorite platforms of all time is KuCoin, and she's like a big KuCoin. She talks about it all of the time. So, and then obviously Coach JV loves Crypto.com. I actually, so probably my favorite is Crypto.com just because of the user friendliness. And that's what I recommend to people because it's really, really easy. But I love Kraken. I probably would say Kraken's probably my second favorite. Kraken and then probably BitTrue. Johnny Crypto got me onto BitTrue because I needed to find a place to buy XRP. And then after I found that, I was like, oh, this is really, really cool. So there, but yeah. And the Piggy, what was it called? Power Piggy or something like that? What did you say it was called?
Piggy, baby.
Power Piggy is really, really cool. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate it. And we will definitely trying to get these going every week. And then probably as we get better, I'll probably do a couple of them a week. So we'll definitely get you guys back on. And I know Johnny Crypto and NFT Tones, you can jump on too if you want next Friday if you're available. But we're going to talk mainly for the crypto research team, but I don't have a problem having you there. Just to, if any NFT play to earn stuff comes up, but you're more than welcome always. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. And I appreciate your time. You guys have a good day.
Well, this was awesome, Jeremy. Thank you for the time. Really appreciate it. This was fun. Can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, Jeremy.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please make sure to support our guests and follow them using their links in the episode description. Also, our 2022 3T Freedom Conference tickets are on sale now. It is a wealth building conference. Coach JV will be talking about mindset. Porter Shumway will be talking about insurance and how to grow your wealth and insurance vehicles. Crypto influencer Bearable Bull will be live streamed in and talking about crypto. Jordan Harry will be speaking about speed learning as well. We will also have our technical analysis team and crypto research team there hosting panels. As always, be grateful, thankful, and kind. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to The Age of Jeremy. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcatcher. If you can do me a favor, please rate this podcast if your podcatcher allows you to. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Okay, everybody, it's Michael E. Cullen II.
And I'm Sesame and Carta from the All Too Real 2 podcast. We're passionate about movies, TV, and pretty much all things pop culture.
Dive into the chaos of failed sitcoms, direct-to-video sequels, and the quirky realms of cinema and TV.
Join us every Thursday for your dose of All Too Real 2 entertainment.
We'll guide you through debates like whether Howard the Duck qualifies as a superhero.
Ponder if Larry the Cable Guy could be the new Rock or Schwarzenegger.
Discover if some shows and movies should have stayed in the cutting room.
Ever heard of a sitcom featuring that dictator with the funny mustache? Well, we watched it.
We're dedicated to unraveling the peculiarities of pop culture, sometimes with awesome guests.
So, if you're into the eccentric world of pop culture,
listen and subscribe to All Too Real 2.
Available wherever you find podcasts
and on Age of Radio.